Just like Michelangelo into the blue, on heavenly wings. Cargo ham bones don't take off, no smoke, no mirror, no strings. I can't take off these dark shades, I can only say how it's too beautiful. Our town on TV, our town, there's you and me. Upside down, hanging out of an airplane. I remember when the new Constellation went transcontinental. It was oh so experimental. I took a ride in a Goonie bug. And when the pilot waves from his little window up high, turn back.
Welcome to Our Town. I'm your host, Larry Frost, and today we're at the Amesbury Police Department with Officer David Clark, who is also a certified child passenger safety technician. Nice to meet you, David.
Thank you, Larry. Pleasure to be here. Hello, and welcome to this segment of Our Town. My name is David Clark. I'm an Amesbury police officer and certified child passenger safety technician. Tonight we'll be talking about car seats, and I have a variety of them here in different steps. And we'll review each step as we go along, and hopefully I'll be able to answer some of your questions that you may have concerning child passenger safety. There are 4 steps to child passenger safety. The first step being the infant seat, step 1. The second step will be a convertible seat. The third step is a booster seat. And the final step being lap and shoulder belt. And we'll review each step tonight as we go along. We'll begin with the infant carrier. This is a product that's made by Graco. However, there are several other manufacturers that make infant seats. The choice is completely up to you as to what you decide to purchase. I often get questions from parents asking me which seats I recommend. What I do recommend to parents is that you buy a seat that will fit your vehicle, will fit your child, and one that you use correctly each and every time. With this infant carrier, this is considered a rear-facing seat only. This is made for a child from birth to approximately up to actually 30 pounds, depending on the manufacturer. So that when you go out to purchase the seat, you want to make sure that you pay close attention to what the manufacturer's requirements are as far as the weight and height requirements for this seat. On average, this particular seat will last you approximately 8, 10, or 12 months, depending on how quickly your child grows. So with a rear-facing seat, this has a removable carrier, and this is a plus with this type of seat. This is very popular with parents who are starting out with a newborn child. The carrier can be removed from the base and brought with them in the store or wherever they're going, and the base itself remains fixed in the vehicle. This has a 5-point harness system in the seat. There are 2 points here. I'll tip this up so you can see a little bit better. So we have the 2 shoulder points here. We have 2 more down below here. And we have the 5th one being in the center. When the child is set into the seat, this is the harness clip. You unclip it like so. Press this red button. That releases the 2 belts. And to loosen the straps, we'll push this button in the front underneath this flap and pull the shoulder belts out. And that releases the straps, loosens them up so you can put the child in the seat. You clip the harness clip together, and these 2 clips here snap in. You'll hear them click into place. And what I recommend is that you take the harness clip and just slide it all the way to the bottom. This will be your last adjustment here. So once the baby's set into the seat, the straps are hooked together, you're going to take one adult finger and you're going to slip it underneath the strap at shoulder level. And with that one finger under the strap, you're going to pull this strap in the front, and you'll notice that the shoulder belts are retracting and they'll be tightening up. So you snug those up to that one adult finger, snug it up good, and then take your harness clip right here and slide this up to armpit level, and the baby will be safe and secure in the seat. So if you need to release it, again, underneath this flap, there is a metal clip. It's spring-loaded. You push down on it, and then you can pull the shoulder belts back out, and that'll loosen up the belts. Now, when this seat is installed in the vehicle, what we're looking for is approximately a 45-degree angle. What you want is to have the child's head tipping back naturally and not falling forward. So on the side of the seat, there is a gauge. It's right here. And that gauge, as long as it's showing blue inside the window, it's telling you that the seat is level in your vehicle seat. If there's orange showing from either side, the seat is not adjusted properly and needs to be readjusted so that it'll fit properly. So I'll give you an example of how this seat will fit in the vehicle. Now there's different ways of latching a vehicle seat into the vehicle. You have what they call a latch system. Latch stands for lower anchors and tethers for children. And this is an example right here of a latch point that's built into what we call the seat bight of your vehicle. The seat bight being the area where the vehicle seat meets the back. They come together. And of course this one is exaggerated because it's a training seat, but basically that's what it'll look like right here, a piece of metal. And they're identified on the seats by a piece of, like a circle that's sewn into the fabric, or there may be a piece of like a little flap of fabric comes out that says latch on it. And these are, you're found in vehicles 2001 and newer are required to have latch systems built into them. And it's located in the seat bight. You may not be able to see it. You'll have to put your finger down inside and feel around for it, but it should be in there if you have 2001 or newer. Also with latch, you have what they call an anchor point in the back for a tether strap. And that could be on the back of your seat, such as this one right here. It's built in on the back of the seat, mostly in minivans. You maybe see those in the back. Or a sedan that has the back deck behind the second seat. It would be built in on the deck, so the strap would come up and click onto it. Or it may be built into the ceiling. Some of the smaller SUVs will have the tether anchor built into the ceiling of the vehicle, so the strap will go up instead and hook into the ceiling. And I'll give you an example a little later on of a tether strap. They're used mostly with convertible seats and never with the infant carriers of this type, Gracos. Again, this seat has limitations to it. Pay close attention to the manufacturer's instructions. Some of the newer ones on the market now go up to approximately 30 pounds in weight and about 29 inches in height. So when the child reaches either one of those points, gets close to it, you want to make sure that you go out and begin shopping for a convertible seat. And at that time, the infant carrier would be put away and the child would move into the convertible seat. So we'll give you an example here of how this will hook into the vehicle. I'll release the carrier portion. And of course the base will go into the vehicle. And these are the latch belts right here on this infant base. Manufacturers click them in here if you're not using them, and you use the seat belt instead. So I'll unclick the latch belt. Again, it's a rear-facing seat, so it'll be put into the vehicle like so. And the seat belt and latch are just as safe as each other, but latch is generally easier to operate because it's just a matter of click, click and pull on the belt, and I'll show you that in just a second here. You have your latch clip, which looks like so. And this will clip on to the latch point down here, like this. And we always click down, never up like so. Always click down. So you'll hear it click. That's one side. And then you have the other side, and that'll click in over here. And once that's done, this particular model has just one belt that you'll pull on, one strap. And with the seat in place, you take one hand and push down on it while you're pulling on the belt, or if you need to, you can actually climb into the vehicle, put your knee into the seat, and push down on it, and pull this belt as hard as you can, get it as tight as you can. And what you're looking for is less than an inch of movement from side to side and from front to back. Okay, and the belt, this will pass through here, goes underneath the tongue in the seat. So it's snug. Now the front of the seat out here is going to feel loose, and it's actually made that way. In a forward crash, you have what they call ride down. Newton's law of motion, everything going forward. Well, if the vehicle hits something, everything inside the car that is unrestrained will be moving as well, including unrestrained passengers. That's why it's important that everybody in the car be seat belted in, or children be riding in a car seat. So in a forward crash, you have ride down. Your seat will push down like so into your vehicle seat, and it will come back up again. It can come up as high as straight up like this. So in that case, you may have a rear-facing mirror up here in the back of your seat. That's not a recommended product. That's an aftermarket product that has not been safety tested. So we don't recommend the rear-facing mirrors that you may mount up here. This infant seat, or actually any child seat, can be placed in the vehicle. The center seating position is the safest due to side impact purposes and crash, but it's not always the most practical. If a seat cannot be installed in the middle position, what I recommend is that it be placed on the passenger side of the vehicle for a couple different reasons. As a driver, let's say this is the passenger side and I'm the driver up here, it gives you the opportunity to be able to look over your shoulder and check on the baby from here as opposed to the middle or directly behind you. Second reason is 99.9% of the time, this is the passenger side of the vehicle. You'll be taking the baby out to the curb as opposed to the street side and putting you both at risk of an oncoming car. So again, if the middle position is not available, for whatever reason it doesn't fit there, I recommend the passenger side instead. So we'll release this latch belt. And if your vehicle is an older vehicle and doesn't have latch, the seat can be installed with the seat belt. And again, they're both just as safe as each other, except that latch is usually easier than the seat belt. So if your vehicle doesn't have latch, use the seat belt. And this particular belt right here is what they call a sliding latch plate. This says it's sliding because it slides back and forth like so. So by itself, it's not able to hold the seat in place. So we use what we call a locking clip. And the locking clip, these come standard with car seats. They'll either be mounted on the seat itself, and in the infant carrier, you most often see them, they'll be out here on the front of the seat. You can see this one's clipped in place. Sometimes the manufacturer will also send you a second one. It could be in a plastic bag with your instruction booklet. So I'll show you an example of the seat locked in with a sliding latch plate. So what you do is you'll pull the belt across like so, passing it through. This is called the belt path on the seat. And you'll click it in place. I'll turn this around for you so you can see it. It's clicked in over here. And the purpose of the locking clip is to lock the belts in place. And it's important that the locking clip be installed within 1 inch of this sliding latch plate, like so. So with the seat in place, what you'll do is you'll pull the shoulder belt portion of it, and I'll put this up so it resembles a shoulder belt. And you'll pull back on the shoulder belt, and what that does is it tightens up the lap belt. It takes all the slack out of the lap belt between the buckle side and over here where it's hooked into the vehicle. So by pulling on the shoulder belt and taking out all the slack, and if I just hold this, I can't move the seat. It's locked in. That's what you're looking for. Again, less than an inch of movement. So you pinch off the belt where the sliding latch plate is, release it, roll the shoulder belt back about 1/2 inch, and attach the sliding latch plate. The locking clip, I'm sorry. And again, it has to be within 1 inch of the sliding latch plate. And then you bring it back over, again, pressing down on the seat, and sometimes you can have 2 people help you to do this if you need to, and leaning on it, putting your hand into it, or sticking your knee into the seat, you'll click it in. You'll hear it click, and again, less than an inch of movement from side to side and from front to back. So that's an example with latch and a seat belt with a sliding latch plate using the locking clip. So release that. I often see seat belts that come in that have the locking clip on the opposite side. Parents will often try to lock down. For example, this will be a cross like so, clicked in. I'll often see it over here on this side, the opposite side, and that's incorrect. In a crash, actually, your belts will tighten up the way they're designed to do, and it's possible in a crash that this clip could pop off the belts and go flying inside the car, become a projectile. So again, it's important that it be over here within 1 inch of the sliding latch plate. There is an adjustable leg on the front of this too, so that when it's installed in the vehicle, if I'll click it all the way down here so you can see it. When it's installed in the vehicle, if the gauge, that round gauge I showed you earlier, doesn't level out to blue, you can use this leg to adjust it. And if I set it back on here, it helps pick up the back end. Of course, this one is too high, but I'll lift it up to show you what it would look like so. Okay, so that leg is fully extended right now. That would lift up that end, and that'll help to level out the seat. If for some reason you had a vehicle seat that's pitched, has quite a pitch to it, and there's a couple of SUVs that come to mind that have a pitched seat, and by that I mean that the vehicle seat pitches down like so. It may be necessary to take a piece of pool noodle actually and put it underneath the seat. This is your standard pool noodle that your children can use as a swimming aid in your home pool. And what we do is we just break a piece of this so that it's approximately the width of the base, and that goes down into the seat bite like so, and then the seat sits on it, and again you push down and install it just like you would, and that again would help to pick this up. It wouldn't necessarily be with this installation because this one's not as pitched as bad, but there are some vehicle seats out there that do have quite a bit of pitch to them. And that's the infant carrier. Now, there is a handle on here as well, and you have what they call the carry-in position, which when the handle is straight up like so, not to be used in the vehicle with the handle straight up. Again, because of that ride down. In a crash, if the handle was up and the seat pushed down and it comes back up straight like this, the handle on the car seat would strike the back of the vehicle seat and it wouldn't be able to perform its intended purpose. So this is carry only, not to be driven around in the car with it straight up. So what we'll do is we'll roll it forward. That click is what they consider a convenience position right here. Then we'll roll it forward again, and you have what they call the travel position. It more or less follows the contour of the seat itself. So again, in that forward crash, the seat would ride down, come back up, and this handle would not strike the back of your vehicle seat. Then there was one more position on here, and I'll show you that one. It requires the seat to be removed from the base. And if I roll this forward again, there's a convenience position here, and then there's on the floor non-rocking. So let's say you came back from the grocery store and the child was asleep and you wanted to put the groceries away. You could set the seat itself down on the floor with the handle in the non-rocking position, and the seat will stay still. The child can finish the nap and you can put the groceries away. Now, one other thing we need to cover on this, and this is with a rear-facing seat, is the straps have to be at or below shoulder level. The manufacturers will start the straps out in the bottom slot. There's a bottom slot here, and then there's a second slot a few inches above. So with the straps in the bottom slot, you want the shoulder straps to be at or below shoulder level. So the shoulder straps should either go over the baby's shoulders, down, and then out the back of the seat, or over the shoulders and straight out like this. Never above the shoulders in a rear-facing seat. Remember, at or below shoulder level. So it's straight out or over the shoulder and then out this way, never above. Okay, and I think that about covers the infant carrier. So we'll move on to the convertible seat. And this convertible seat, this one happens to be made by Graco as well. This is called the Comfort Sport. It also has a 5-point harness system in it. This one is set up to be a forward-facing seat because the straps are in the highest slot. And whenever a seat is set up for forward-facing, if it has a reinforced bar in the back, such as this one, this hard plastic right here that's wide, okay, that's a reinforcing bar, which will take the stress of a forward crash much better than just an open slot like this, which would be used for rear facing. Okay, that's just an open slot. This is an open slot, but has the reinforced bar behind it to take that stress. So this seat can be set up for rear facing, or it can be set up for forward facing. The downside to this one, if it's rear facing or forward facing, this type of seat remains in the car, as opposed to, of course, the infant carrier, which can be removed from the car and carried with you. So with a rear-facing seat, this leg would be flipped underneath like so it can be tilted back. Again, you're looking for approximately 45 degrees, especially on the newborns. They don't have very good head control, so you want the seat tilted back. So in rear facing, this would look like so if it was put into the vehicle. Again, this one can be installed with latch, or it can be installed with the seat belt, depending on whether or not you have latch in the vehicle. If this was installed forward facing, of course it would be turned around. The leg would be pulled out here to help it sit up straight, and it would look like so when it's in the vehicle seat. This one also has the gauge on the side, and this is a ball that rocks back and forth, and this is only made for rear facing. So if I was to turn this seat back around and we'll turn this rear facing, like so. What you're looking for is to get that ball in the green zone, right here. And that tells you that the seat is tipped back at a proper angle, so the baby's head will be resting back and not falling forward.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. I want to thank Officer Dave Clark for his great presentation.
Thank you, Larry.
I'd also like to thank Charles Frost, who's a staff writer for the Daily News, for his great article on this particular show. Work hard, stay healthy, and be sure to take time to care for someone. Coming up next will be Relaxing with Nature in Our Town. So please stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Okay? To be just like Michelangelo into the blue on heavenly wings. Cargo ham bones don't take off, no smoke, no mirror, no strings. I can't take off these dark shades, I can only say how it's too beautiful. Our town on TV, our town, there's you and me. Upside down, hanging out of an airplane. I remember